So we are reading Hands of Light by Barbara Brennan. We are on chapter 10, page number 84 of the book. We are going to read the energy center diagnosis. PDF page number 106. Okay, so we are going to go into basically the next part of the chapter is an intensive study. So first we need to understand what the movements are all about, right? So the first thing that you see is a clockwise 6-inch diameter. Okay, so C stands for clockwise. You all can write it down if you want on a piece of paper. Yeah, no, I mean if someone wants to make a cheat sheet.
It's written clockwise 6 inches, no?
I know. If you want to make a cheat sheet, Chachi,
Okay.
then you can, when you make your readings, then it will become better. So you make a cheat sheet for yourself. C stands for clockwise. The number stands for the diameter that the pendulum is swinging at. Okay. Then E stands for ecliptic.
Elliptical.
Yes. Ecliptic. R stands for
elliptical.
Right. Okay. And again, 3 is for the diameter. So basically, C stands for clockwise, E is for elliptical, R stands for right, and 3 stands for the diameter. The next one is left and 3. Okay. Now, when the pendulum is swinging towards the right, you will put right. If it is swinging vertical, it will become V, vertical. Okay, which is the next one. So it's still not a circle. The circle is in the first one. Okay, then you have, Shimangla, you can pull it down. Then you have, next is horizontal. So if it is swinging in a horizontal plane, then it becomes horizontal.
Can I just say something?
Yes.
If you can just, make the pendulum swing in this way, we may have a better visual idea. You complete this and then just, make the pendulum
swing. We'll make the pendulum swing. No problem.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll do that. Okay, then you have horizontal. So H will stand for horizontal. Okay, and then CC stands for counterclockwise. It is going anti-clockwise. So basically, if you see, there are 5 or 6 things that we need to take over here. One is C, which is clockwise. CC stands for counterclockwise. R stands for right. L stands for left. V stands for vertical. And H stands for horizontal.
And E stands for elliptical.
What? E stands for elliptical. Shivangla, go down. Basically, if you know these 4 or 5 items, you know the whole thing.
Bhaiya, what is E elliptical?
Elliptical means that it is not going straight or vertical or totally round. It is going in a parabol.
Oval shape.
It's an oval shape. It is not going in a circle.
Okay.
Okay, and the other thing over here, one is still, right? And then of course, R means that it's not going elliptical, it's going straight up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay. And S means still. And when the axis is not in the center, it will go here and there. So A stands for axis. Actually, AS, they put here AS, axis shift. Everyone clear with this?
Yes.
Okay, so if you want to see it,
so, I have a question.
Yeah.
So what is axis shifting? It's when it's swinging and then moving in another direction.
Yeah.
Is that what it means?
No. So over here, what he's saying.
You can demo it for us.
Yeah, I'll just demo. I'll just demo it. Chalo. Okay. So
Share so that we can see you fully.
So if this is my pendulum, okay, if it is going in the right direction, it's going clockwise. So I'm doing it on the, let's say I'm doing it on this rubber. Right. So this is going clockwise. That's my clockwise is going anti-clockwise for you. Wait. So I'm doing it ulta, okay? So when I do this, this is going clockwise. Everyone got it?
Yes.
Okay, now when I do this, this is CC. This is anti-clockwise. Okay. Then the next one is CER. Right. So now it will be my left. So when I say it is going clockwise, but it is an elliptical, but in the right. So it's going like this. You're getting that?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Yes, Priya.
The next one is left. So it will go like this. Okay. The next one is vertical. So it is going like this. Vertical. Okay. The next one is horizontal. So it is going like this. Okay. The next was anti-clockwise 6. So it is going anti-clockwise. This is anti-clockwise.
Anti-clockwise for us.
Yeah, anti-clockwise for you. Okay. Now the diameter, like this is about 3 inches diameter. This is about 6 inches diameter. So if the thing starts to rotate bigger, then you start noting how many inches it is moving at. Okay, then you have, so I think this is understood, counterclockwise, clockwise. This is naturally, if it is going straight, it is not in an going in a parabol. So this is vertical. This will be horizontal. And then you have the right swing. If it is going swinging like that, the right and maybe the left. Okay, there's no circle. It's just swinging left and right. And then you have this one, which is going all over the place.
Bhaiya, the right is that it goes towards your right hand.
Correct. It goes towards your right hand. The left is it goes towards your left side.
With the left hand.
Okay, it's very simple concept. It's not
Thank you.
very difficult at all.
Yeah.
Shimangla, you'll have to shift to gallery. Now you can share the thing again. And of course, still is still. Everyone clear with this, I hope.
Yes,
Okay.
Bhaiya.
Yes.
This is Sagri, you're okay?
Yeah, clear.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
It's just the demo helped, sort of fix it
Yes.
in the head. I was
Yeah.
doing it with my hands, but
Yeah.
seeing it makes a difference. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
absolutely. Thank you. Okay, so now we can start reading.
Thanks to you for showing it, Bhaiya.
Pleasure. Shivangla, we're on page 87. Yeah, from here.
Now let us examine the chakra configurations actually measured in a case. This is a woman who came to the Phoenicia Pathwork Center in Phoenicia, New York, on 2 separate occasions to do a week-long retreat that included very intensive work on herself. The first was in 1979 and the second in 1981. The second time she came, it was with her new husband, and they did very intensive couples work. The chakra measurements were taken before the week's work started, and then again after the week's work was completed. All measurements were taken when the woman was in a very quiet state and had been for some time. They are shown in figure 10.3. To interpret these readings, you will need to use both figures 7.3 and 9.1 and figure 10.2 of this chapter on the meaning of each chakra. As you can see from the readings, the most harmoniously functioning centers are those of the reason. Next, those of feeling. The worst, those of the will. This means that she has a fine mind which functions well, especially in its concepts of reality 6a and in the integration of her personality and spirituality 7. Her mental executive will center 6b has a right-left split most of the time, meaning she tends to be aggressive when it is more appropriate to be receptive in any given situation that is related to carrying out her ideas in a step-by-step fashion. She will decide what to do and proceed to do it in a step-by-step way, regardless of whether or not it is time to start. When she arrived for her first retreat, this center was aggressive. By the time the first retreat was over, this center had calmed down, was no longer aggressive, but rather was still. This configuration of stillness did not hold or change to harmony, as it often does over time. 2 years later, when she came back, the center was again aggressive, and it did not change during the second retreat. At the time of the last reading, she still had a problem with being over-aggressive when carrying out her ideas. This was the only case of no change in her chakras. All the other chakras were balanced by the end of the second retreat.
So just go up. So what she's talking about is in the second line, executive will, that is 6b, right? Which is at the back of the head, where you're actually exerting yourself and implementing stuff. So before the retreat, it was clockwise, equilibric towards the right at a 4-inch diameter. After the retreat, it became still, right? When she came back, it was again R4. That means again, she is aggressive. It's not balanced. The chakra balances when you get a circle, okay? If you have an eclectic or a right-left movement, it is not balanced. You need to have a circular movement to show that it is balanced. After the retreat, the chakra size increased because when she came in, it was only 4 centimeters, right? Or 4 inches. At the end of the retreat, it became 6. So it became bigger, but still it was a right ecliptic. So that shows that the aggression and the balancing has not yet taken place. If you see all the other chakras which are there, everything has become clockwise and of course, between 3 to 5 centimeter, 5 inches. Okay. So it shows that improvement in all the other chakras except for the first chakra. Yes, Renuji.
Bhaiya, in this, they mentioned that after the first retreat in 1979, it was still. But still is also not good, no?
No. So when you see back, what does still imply, right? When it is still, it says chakra not functioning at all will lead to pathology in the physical body, right? Now, when you see CR, yeah, it shows open, active. Okay. Receptive split with active side of personality more developed than the receptive. Perception of reality biased towards activity, masculine or yang side of dualism. So it is not balanced. You are becoming very aggressive, right? When you go into stillness, it is better than aggression.
Okay. Okay.
It is better than aggression. But
Aggression.
when she came back, it was right for. So right for says, when you say right 3 is there in that chart that we have, it says severe aggression, passive split, aggressive side more developed than the passive side. So today, when we want to function properly in life, we need to have balance in our life, right? The balance will come when the chakras are functioning in a clockwise direction and in a circular fashion, not in an eclectic fashion. Okay.
So still is just better than that, but it's not good.
It's not good. That means it's still, it's not active at all. So we need activity, but we need clockwise activity. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone, any other question on this before we move on? Okay, Shimangla, you're on.
Her other will centers showed problems too, with each of them not functioning at one or another time during the weeks involved. When she arrived in 1979, chakras 5B, 3B, and 2B were not functioning properly. This means that she was negatively aggressive in terms of pride, chakra 5B, self-destructiveness, chakra 3B, and dampening her sexual power. She dampened her sexual power by splitting the energy flow in chakra 2B into 4 parts. The pendulum showed 4 distinct and separate circles.
Shimangla, just 1 second. Go back to the chart. Okay, so now, 1 second. So what they're talking about here is that chakras 5B, that is the professional will, was anti-clockwise. Okay, chakra 2B was anti-clockwise, right? And chakra 3B was ecliptic, right? So all these are not functioning properly, the 3 of them. These are all related to will centers, and they are saying chakra 5B is related to self-destruction. Chakra 3B is related to sexual dampening, and chakra 2B is, 1 second. And she dampened her sexual power by splitting the energy flow in 2B into 4 parts. Pendulum showed 4 distinct separate circles. So it is over here, she's not showing it over here. She's saying CC, but it seems that it is CEAS actually over here. Shimangla, you can go back.
A is showing CEAS also.
Okay.
The last line.
Yeah, that's sexual receptivity before the retreat, but they're talking about 79 just now.
This means that she was negatively aggressive in terms of pride, chakra 5B, self-destructiveness, chakra 3B, and dampening her sexual power. She dampened her sexual power by splitting the energy flow in chakra 2B into 4 parts. The pendulum showed 4 distinct and separate circles, and using it in negative ways, such as fights with her ex-husband. After the first retreat, the only improvement in her will functioning was in the area of pride, which she had let down, and become positive functioning in the area of a profession, 5B. It still had an overactive component, which took the place of the pride used to compensate for feelings of inadequacy in that area. When she came to the second retreat 2 years later, she still carried with her the same issues of will. These got resolved during the course of the second intensive retreat, and all the will centers started to function normally.
So go back to the chart. So if you see, after the second retreat, except for the executive will, all of them became clockwise. All the will centers, that is the B, all the B's became clockwise. So that's what they're saying, that after the intense work of the second retreat, she became much more harmonized.
The feeling center showed some difficulties, but not as much as the will. The heart center 4A remained open throughout both years. She is very good at loving. The throat center 5A showed trouble with taking in nourishment and an aggressive denial of her needs. This softened by the end of the first week, and when she came back in 2 years, it had been resolved, mostly through establishing a very sweet relationship with the man she loves. On the other hand, the solar plexus center 3A, which relates to who you are in the universe, was closed when she first came. It opened during her retreat, but in the second year period between retreats, it closed again. By the end of the second retreat, it was open again and metabolizing more energy.
Okay, so naturally over here, you go back to the chart. Okay, so what he's saying is 4A remained open throughout. So if you see on the chart, 4A was always clockwise. Okay, so she's very good at loving. She's connected with universal energy. The throat center, that is 5A, showed a left in the beginning. It became a clockwise epileptic right, which is better than left. And then in the second retreat, it had already become clockwise. So she formed a loving relationship, and receptivity and responsibility what happened because of the loving relationship developed with her new husband.
Bhaiya, what is the executive will then that which did not clear up?
So the executive will is at the back of the Agya Chakra,
Yeah.
which is the place from where we execute things.
Okay.
So how do we execute it? Ek hota hai na ki one person lovingly with creating harmony executes things, and another person becomes like a dictator and very aggressive in implementing things, right? So when it is not flowing clockwise, the person will aggressively implement stuff.
Okay.
Okay. So again, the idea here is ultimately what are we looking for is a clockwise movement in all the chakras.
Okay.
This is actually taking it one step beyond what Asta was teaching us, right?
Okay.
Asta did not show it in so many different ways. So here we can actually, when we do Asta's program, we can come back to this book and actually build on our ability to perceive. But again, the point is of practice. The more you practice, the better off you will get in doing it.
Thank you.
Shimangla.
The feeling center showed some difficulties, but not as much as the will. The heart center 4A remained open throughout both years. She is very good at loving. The throat center 5A showed trouble with taking in nourishment and an aggressive denial of her needs. This softened by the end of the first week when she came back in 2 years. It had been resolved, mostly through establishing a very sweet relationship with the man she loves. On the other hand, the solar plexus center 3A, which relates to who you are in the universe, was closed when she first came. It opened during her retreat, but in the second period between retreats, it closed again. By the end of the second retreat, it was open again and metabolizing more energy.
So when she came for the retreat, it was moving counterclockwise at 3 inches. Right. In the retreat, it cleared up and it became 3 inches in the clockwise direction. Then when she came back for the second retreat, again it was counterclockwise 3 inches. When she left, it was clockwise 5 inches. Okay, this is there in the chart. I'm not pulling the chart up. You will note, Shimangla, niche. Yeah, from here. Shimangla.
Relationship with the man she loves.
Again. Start again.
From you will note?
Yes.
You will note that her sexual power center cleared when her relationship with the man she loves became more stable and clearly defined through the work in the couple's retreat. During the first retreat, she opened her feeling centers and began to feel safe in the universal world of feelings. In the second retreat, having done a lot of work on the feeling centers, which were not as blocked as the will centers, she was able to deeply confront her misuse of her will and rebalance it. As you can see from the readings, most of the chakras showed large diameters, which means that the person possessing this energy system has a lot of power. It is interesting to note that the crown, third eye, and heart centers all remained open through the 2-year period. This means that she is very connected to her spirituality, conceptual reality, and is capable of loving. The overall picture of her personality is that her primary clear function is reason and that she compensates for and defends against vulnerable feelings with the will, which is too aggressive. As I said earlier, by the end of the second retreat, all centers except the executive will center were functioning well. As long as they stay that way, she will be balanced in her reason, will, and emotional functions and will lead a more happy and balanced life.
So basically what she is attempting to say here is that by just seeing the chakra, the pendulum movement across the chakras, it is possible to discern exactly what is happening with the person concerned. Yes, Chachi?
Can we get a pendulum? Just buy it online?
Yeah, just buy it online. Any pendulum will
Okay.
work for us because see, we are not professionally doing it, right? So any pendulum will do the work.
Okay.
I'll send you some links also.
Okay.
So what I'll do is I'm going to post for the next class with Asta. I will post on the groups, and whoever wants to join can join that, and then we will set up a time. You can go down.
I like this question. If you work with someone to open their heart and sex centers and you succeed, why might they close their solar plexus chakra?
Okay, so
This is what happened with her. The number 6 is the food for thought.
1 second. If you open the heart and sex center, the heart center is for and the sex chakra. Okay, we'll have to read the notes and work on this. Yes, Agri?
I just wanted to ask, this program with Asta is what we have already done, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
But there's
thank
no
you.
harm in repeating. I feel that repeating
Yeah.
is always good because it really integrates the stuff. We were also going to have practice sessions and all. Also, that also I'll start working on.
Chapter 11, Observations of Auras in Therapy Sessions. The aura is really the missing link between biology and physical medicine and psychotherapy. It's the place where all the emotions, thoughts, memories, and behavior patterns we discuss so endlessly in therapy are located. They're not.
So this is absolutely right. You know, when we used to take aura pictures with the Progen camera, we could really discern what is happening exactly with that person. And it used to act like a mirror of the person, right? And what she's saying here, that everything that we experience in our life is all registered in the biofield or the aura. And this is something, again, we are noticing in the biofield tuning sessions that we are doing. Everything comes out about the person. And when we start clearing the field, then automatically lots of stuff starts to fall in place for the person concerned.
They're not just suspended somewhere in our imaginations, but they are located in time and space. Thoughts and emotions move between people in time and space through the human energy field. And learning about it is the way to get a handle on this activity.
So this is something which is, I find, the most fascinating part of biofield tuning. When we take the tuning fork into the field in the timeline process, you can start getting exact incidents, feelings, associations with yourself and with the situation. And then when the clearing takes place, it really releases stuff, and people really start to get shifted and create shifts in their life when that starts to happen.
Let's look at some of the fluid energy flows of auras as people move through their daily lives and then in therapy sessions. We will concentrate on the colorful moving forms of the lower 4 layers of the aura and return to our discussion of chakras in a later chapter. Perceiving colors in the field. When one starts to read auras, the meaning of the colors may not be understood directly. Then with practice, general meaning of colors will become clear.
So this is very important. Okay. What happens is that you may perceive a color. Now, how a person is perceiving the color may be different for each person who's a practitioner, right? ultimately we need to develop the language for ourselves that, okay, this color, when I perceive it, it means this. This is the feel of this color. What does this color mean to me? So we start perceiving it. We develop a new language. This is again something that we talk about in the Monroe programs, that when we are going into altered states of consciousness, we need to develop our own language by the feel of what we feel in those higher states of consciousness. So it's exactly the same over here.
When the practitioner has more sensitivity through using her gift, she will also read the meaning of the colors she perceives. Color will be discussed in chapter 23. One of the earliest explosions of the human energy field I observed remains one of the most vivid. In 1972, during a bioenergetics primal screen intensive workshop, I watched Linda light up like a Christmas tree as she screamed about the death of her father from cancer. Bright beams of red, yellow, orange, and some blues streamed from her head. I blinked my eyes, but it didn't go away. I squinted. I moved around the room. I looked for the after image. The phenomenon was still there. I was seeing something. I could no longer deny the many experiences I had had observing apparent colors around people's heads. I began observing the phenomenon more closely.
So again, this was the first time that she experienced this, right? So it hit her on her face, and then she realized that yes, there is definitely something to it.
As I slowly became more proficient at seeing the aura, I started trying to correlate my findings with the personal state of each subject. I found that people flash bright colors when they are engaged in feelings or actions. When they are quiet, the auric field returns to a stable, normal state for that person.
So now this becomes important, right? Through observation, through being able to discern, through connecting with a person, we can get to know again which color means what. This is exactly the way that even I had done it with the Progen Aura camera pictures. We've taken tens of thousands of pictures. And over a period of time, taking aura readings, when we are saying something, whether it is matching with what the person is experiencing or not, and then we've come to a set of basic straight out projections that, okay, if this symbol is there, it means this. If this symbol is there, it means this. If this symbol is there, it means this. If this color combination is there, it means this. So over a period of time, we've again been able to decipher it and put symbolism. Of course, there's always a deeper layer to it, but the basic reading can be very, very practical and very clear because of the experience that we've developed on reading the aura pictures. So this is the same thing that she's done over here. By actually with clairvoyant eyes being able to see the aura, she started being able to discern what each color means and where it comes, etc.
In general, I have found that the normal or quiescent aura looks like figure 7.1. It has a dark bluish purple or clear pulsating layer out to 1/4 inch or as much as 1.5 inches from the skin. It is constantly pulsating at the rate of about 15 pulses per minute. The pulsations usually form a wave-like motion down the arms, legs, and torso. First, it is surrounded by a light blue to gray hazy layer, which is much brighter close to the body and fades with distance from the body. The blue color generally turns to a yellow color around the head at about 3 to 4 inches in distance. There are usually streamers of the lighter blue coming off the fingertips and toes and out of the top of the head. I have found that most people are able to see the streamers off the tips of the fingers with a few minutes practice and clear instructions. Although most of the time these streamers are blue, their colors vary in the red and purple areas also. They may be any color.
So once again, Shivangla, can you stop your share? I'll just share the picture. So can you all see this thing? Oh, sorry. So this is a picture that she was talking about, right? You can see the blue coming out of the legs and the hands over here, right? So she's saying that multicolored colors are around here, and then the streamers are coming out, and there's a golden field around the entire. So this is the picture that she was talking about. Of course, it's ulta. I can't straighten it just now. Shimangla, you can go.
Yeah, what do you mean by streamers?
ये जो है ना ये streamers ये ऐसे ऐसे.
Acha, 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 which is at the end. Okay.
Yeah.
Exercises to observe other people's auras. Now that you have done the exercises in chapter 7, observing the aura at your fingertips, let's look at other people's auras.
So again, doing the exercise and using the fingertips, I told you all last time that you like actually can practice this. And the best way to do it against a blue sky, right? If you just keep your hands like this and focus your attention 6 inches behind your hands, you'll see streamers coming out of your hands like this, and they connect. When you move your hand like this, the streamers will go down and then they'll disconnect and connect into the next finger. So this is something that we can practice. And that what she says in the last thing, that you can see the streamers of the fingertips with a few minutes of practice and clear instructions. So anyone can do this. In our energy field and Vastu program, when we used to do it physically, everyone could see these streamers in the hands.
Again, use a darkened room, later evening light, not real dark. You should be able to see each other's faces quite easily. Ask your friend to stand in front of a plain white wall or a screen. Make sure you do not have any lights that you may accidentally look into. You want to relax your eyes.
So, so this this is something that of course we can practice. And let me tell you, whenever I go to a concert, right, and the performers on the stage, we can actually see these lights coming out and the aura coming out of the person, especially on that stage, because you have overhead lighting, basically diffuse lighting, and you're at a distance, and generally the background is a dark background. Okay, over here she says that you can look at it on a white background. So white background will also work. A dark background will also work. This is my experience. But you can make a person stand in front of a dark wall or a light wall, either black or white, and focus your attention on that person, and you will be able to see these lights or the haze which we saw in the fingers around the head of the person also.
To see the aura, you want to use your nighttime vision, as when you're walking in the dark and you notice that you can see things better if you do not look directly at them. You are using the rods rather than the cones in your eye. The rods are much more sensitive to low light levels than the cones, which are for daytime and bright color use.
So basically, squinting your eyes will make this happen.
Look at the area of space either near the top of your friend's head or at the neck shoulder area. Unfocus your eyes so that you're looking at an area of space rather than a fixed line. As you softly gaze at a space 4 to 6 inches deep around the head, allow the light to come into your eyes.
So this becomes important also over here, right? So you need to soften your gaze. You need to squint, you need to relax your gaze and look at just feeling a depth. Like if I'm looking at my face, I'm not looking at my face, I'm looking over here, right? 6 to 4 inches behind, and then you will start seeing the halo.
Create a sensation of allowing something to come into your eyes rather than your eyes reaching out to grasp something as they sometimes do when you try hard to see something.
So this again becomes important, right? We need, again, trying is counterproductive. We need the gestalt to come in. We need to see, instead of focusing on one thing, we need to focus on the whole, right? And that's when this will start happening.
Give yourself plenty of time. Do this with other people, preferably with someone who sees auras, so that you can correlate what you see.
So again, whenever you work with someone who already knows about something, your ability to do that thing will automatically get enhanced because you're working in the field of a person who already knows, right? So that's what makes practicing important. Having said that, of course, we are on Zoom, so practicing this may become difficult, but you all can always practice with your family members. Ask them to stand in front of a wall, shut down the lights, don't have too much of lighting, and then just observe what is happening. It could also be you can make a person stand against a window and look against the sky. You'll again be able to see the haze around the head of the person. But again, softening your eyes and focusing your attention a little bit in a gestalt, but 4 to 6 inches behind whatever you are looking at. This you can also see the haze coming out from the trees, etc. When you defocus your eyes and just look at a gestalt, you'll be able to see this haze out of the big trees around you, even the plants which are growing. We have this something called a silent walk when we do the gateway voyage, and in that most people actually start observing this, of course, when we are doing it physically.
You may think you see something, and as soon as you do, it will be gone before you can even say, that's it. Make sure that if you look away at a blank spot on the wall, you do not see the same thing.
So this becomes important, right? If you are saying the same thing in a blank space also, then that becomes a problem. Okay. So you have to be able to defocus your eyes. That is the most important thing over here.
That is the after image effect, in which your eye will hold an image due to a complementary color effect or bright contrast intensity. The auric phenomenon is very fast and doesn't stay. It pulsates. You may see it flow down the arm or flash a color upward and out of the field. You may see a haze around the body that does not look exciting. Don't be disappointed. This is only the beginning.
So again, when you see, you'll see the haze. Sometimes it will spark up, it will become brighter, it'll go this way, it'll go that way, it'll compress, it will come out. All that stuff will be happening.
Pick up a pair of aura goggles at the local holistic bookstore and follow the instructions you find in them. They help you develop your ability to see and have a cumulative effect on the sensitivity of the eye. Cobalt blue glass is the best color, but hard to get. Most aura goggles are dark purple and work fine.
So when you can do this with the naked eye also, but when you have that blue glass, it becomes easier. There are many books also which include a glass, where you have these plastic glasses with the blue color, and then you can allow yourself to see the aura with those blue. It comes along with that book. I have that book. I'll post the name of the book. I'll just look for it. Yes, Sunita?
Bhaiya, drinking water from that cobalt blue glass also has some meaning or what?
Yes, that's why they say the blue water, when you put it in the sun, that has a high
Yes.
energizing process in your field. This was also mentioned in Zero Limits, where Dr. Hugh says that you use water in a very dark blue glass and put it in the sun and then have the water.
Thank you.
It's a clearing process.
Thank you.
Don't do any of these exercises too long. You will find yourself getting very tired after a while. I have found that a group of people get very excited when they first see something. Then as they continue, doubts come in and each person's energy system tires. Soon, you have a room full of very quiet, tired people. So just do a little every day and check out what you have seen with the illustrations and descriptions that follow.
So again, there are many illustrations and descriptions in the book. So again, practice will make perfect. It's very simple. We can't do it otherwise.
If a person has a strong feeling, his quiescent aura will suddenly be permeated with another color and form correlating to his emotional state. Then, after the feeling tones down, the aura regains its original general appearance.
So all of us have a base state, right? And then when we are feeling emotions, etc., or some influences there on us, the colors will change. So what is our base? The base will remain the same most of the time, unless there is a massive shift in your level of consciousness.
The length of time this takes varies with the individual and depends on several factors. If the person has not released the feeling, it will remain in his aura, usually faded, until he does. If he releases part of the feeling, that part will be released.
So again, stuff that we hang on to, right? It becomes like a rock in our auric field and it gets stuck, this energy. So if you've experienced something very traumatic, etc., that energy which is coming in can remain stuck in the aura. And when we transcend it, it releases and the auric field gets cleared up.
The colors and forms may rapidly flash and move out of the auric field, or they may simply fade away over a period of a few minutes or even a few weeks. They may even be colored over or masked by other colors and forms in a layered effect. Some forms, which I will discuss later, stay in the aura for years. Every thought, feeling, and experience a person has affects and changes his aura. Some effect always remains.
So some things get stuck, right? And then they become rocks. We need to clear the field. We need to create that balance which we want to exist in.
Figure 11.1a shows the normal aura of a man. As he sings figure 11.1b, his aura expands and brightens. Bright lightning-like flashes and sparks of iridescent blue-violet move off just after the movement of inhaling before he starts each new line. As the audience becomes more attentive, its general aura expands. Great arcs of light reach out from the singer to the audience, and the two auras connect. Mutual forms begin to build as feelings flow between performer and audience. These energy consciousness forms relate in structure and color to the mutual thoughts and feelings of the group and the music being created. At the end of the song, these forms are disconnected and broken up by the applause, which acts as an eraser to wipe the field clean for the next creation. Both performer and audience are energized by absorbing the energy created by the music. Some of this energy will be internalized to break blocks held in the body. Some of it will be used for the next creation.
So you'll find that, many singers, they form a connection with the audience. And that is when the audience has a great time, has a good time hearing the performance. So that connection is made at the auric level.
As another person lectures on his favorite subject, his aura expands and becomes yellow gold with silvery gold or iridescent blue sparks shown in figure 11.1c. The same speaker-audience phenomenon occurs, this time with an emphasis on the mental energies which show up as yellow gold. After the lecture, his aura remains expanded for some time as he is high from his work. There has been a mutual exchange of energy consciousness. Some of the audience now vibrates more at his level. Figure 11.1d shows the aura of a man speaking with passion about education. Those who listen will probably pick up some of his pink-maroon color. This occurs by a process of raising one's own vibrations to his level through harmonious induction. Love glows as a soft, beautiful rose in the aura. It sometimes also has gold with it. Spiritual feelings have a range of colors: blue for the speaker of truth, purple for spirituality, and silvery gold for purity.
So again, every color will mean something. Connectivity. A person who's speaking enthusiastically of something will automatically start expanding his aura to encompass the other person. This is where charismatic teachers come in, right? Where they start influencing the field of the students, and transference also starts to take place when this happens.
People sometimes radiate colors similar to those they like to wear. Figure 11.1e shows a woman after leading a core energetics class, a physical exercise class focused on bringing out feelings to help understand their psychodynamics. This green, which she wears often, is associated with physical health and healing. In another example, figure 11.1f shows a man who often radiates a lilac color, which corresponds to one of his favorite shirts. This color appears to correlate with loving feelings and softness in him. Figure 11.1g shows a woman meditating to increase the energy in her field, which displayed many colors, some of which trickled down her front in fluid motion. Her will center between the shoulder blades was partially visible. When a woman gets pregnant, her field expands and becomes much brighter. Figure 11.1h shows a woman about 6 months pregnant with a girl. The mother-to-be has beautiful soft balls of blue, pink, yellow, and green rolling over each other down her shoulders. These are only a few examples of how the human energy field is bound up with and inherently connected to everything we see occurring on a purely physical and psychological level.
So everything that we see, everything that we hear, okay, is there. 1 second. Can you all see the screen? So these are the figures that were there. Okay. So this is a man lecturing on his favorite subject. The field is becoming gold. And then the crown chakra, you can see, is activating. The will center is also activating over here. About education, it becomes purple. Core energetics becomes healing. Green is a healing color, right? The person, again, the colors that we are wearing can start affecting our field. This is a lady meditating. You can see all the chakras are opening up, right? Over here, this is a pregnant lady, which again has a very colorful and a very expanded auric field. So when a lady is pregnant, in the biogeometry field, that when we check it, every pregnant lady is radiating the BG3 quality, which is sacred energy. Today, if you see a pregnant lady, technically speaking, the belly, when the belly starts to expand, the lady should be totally imbalanced. The balance should not be there, but the lady can balance. It is because of that field that gets created around a pregnant lady. Okay, so of course we can practice this. If some of you can practice, of course, today is the last day for this week of book reading. Whatever we have read, go back to the PDF. Everything is there on the PDF. Look at it, read it, and if possible, practice with the chakra testing with some of your family members. And then on Monday when we come, we can share what we got with our family members, whether we are able to see the aura or not. So just make an effort. Just take a white wall, ask someone to stand in front of the white wall, squint a little, ask them not to be stuck to the white wall, just a little ahead, so that you can focus 4 to 6 inches behind them and see if you can see the aura or not. Okay. In my view, everyone can see that first layer, the first haze which is there. I think everyone will be able to see it. I will post the links for the pendulum. In Amazon, there are lots of pendulums there. I'll post the links that Astha had given and post it on the book reading group. Okay, I hope all of you are in the book reading group.
I can see on the screen just now your thing also.
Yeah, so on the screen also, you'll be able to see the aura if you focus your attention. On the screen also, you can see the auras. Okay, anyone, anything to add or say before we wrap up? So you all have a lot of homework, technically speaking. Renuji,
What
you
is
have-
Stop the recording.
What homework, Bhaiya? I